On the golden fields of the Serengeti at high noon, time seems to stand still under the scorching sun. Shimmering heat waves dance over the thorny acacia canopies, creating a blurry and desolate landscape. Amidst this vast expanse stands Zara, a woman with sun-kissed skin and eyes carrying the steadfastness of someone who has spent her life learning the language of the wilderness. Facing her is Tembo, a giant African bull elephant weighing over 5 tons. Tembo carries not only the strength of a savanna deity, but also the scars of a tragic past, etched through the jagged, tattered edges of his ears. To a stranger, Tembo is the embodiment of danger, a giant capable of leveling a house with a single angry step. But to Zara, Tembo is a broken soul. She steps closer, her small yet firm hand resting gently on the rough bridge of the elephant's trunk. Between them, there is no sign of bull hooks or chains. The only thing Zara carries is a vibrant red cloth, a crimson streak standing out against the gray backdrop of earth and dust. As Zara begins to hum a low melody, a miraculous transformation occurs. It is the lullaby titled Echo of the Matriarch, a piece composed of low frequencies and soft rumbles, precisely mimicking how a matriarch soothes her calf in the dark of the deep wild. The melody weaves through the air, shattering the prevailing tension. Within seconds, the giant's heavy eyelashes begin to flicker and close. The world's largest land mammal is slowly letting go of its guard to surrender to a lullaby. This is the beginning of a magical journey where a bridge between two species is built not by power, but by profound empathy and absolute trust. To understand why Zara's lullaby possesses such miraculous healing power, we must go back in time to the day Tembo first set foot in the sanctuary. In the African wild, elephants are known as creatures with the deepest intelligence and emotions. But that intelligence can sometimes become a curse. Elephants never forget, and neither did Tembo. He was a survivor of a bloody encounter with poachers in the dark, a tragedy that claimed his family and left him stranded in the wilderness. When he first stepped off the transport vehicle, Tembo was not a majestic lord, but a trembling mass of fear and rage. His ears were always flared, his trunk constantly searching the air for threats that no longer existed. In the records, he was labeled a problem elephant, a tag usually reserved for creatures who have lost faith in the world after witnessing the unthinkable. Zara, with 10 years of experience studying elephant psychology, knew that traditional training methods would utterly fail with Tembo. He didn't need to be conquered, he needed to be mended. For the first 3 months, Zara made no attempt to touch him. Every afternoon, she simply sat about 20 meters from the enclosure fence, under the shade of an old acacia tree, and read books out loud. She wanted Tembo to grow accustomed to the vibration of a human voice, to recognize that the sound was associated with peace rather than the terrifying gunshots or screams of his past. Those were long, grueling afternoons where the red dust of the savannah coated her clothes and the searing heat tested human patience. During that time, Zara observed a heartbreaking truth. Tembo seemed to have forgotten how to rest. In nature, an elephant can only sleep deeply when it feels absolute protection from the matriarch. Tembo had not lain down for weeks. He stood there, nodding off in a state of high alert, his legs always ready to flee or charge. Exhaustion made Tembo more irritable and aggressive than ever. Zara realized that if she couldn't find him a new herd, she had to become his matriarch, a steady spiritual anchor amidst the vast savannah. She began experimenting with low-frequency sounds, mimicking the infrasonic rumbles elephants use to communicate across miles. After many adjustments, Zara found a specific rhythm, a slow, steady tempo like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. She called it the origin of the echo of the matriarch. This melody was not just music, it was a biological signal. It whispered to Tembo's stressed nervous system, "The savannah is quiet. I am watching the horizon for you. You can let go of everything now." Zara's persistence bore fruit when, for the first time in months, Tembo stopped swaying his anxious head and turned his ears toward her, not to threaten, but to listen. It was the moment the icy wall in the giant's heart began to show its first cracks. When the sun reaches its zenith, scorching everything with equatorial heat, a strange and mesmerizing ritual begins. Zara walks toward Tembo, a vibrant red cloth draped over her shoulder, shining like a small flame in the brilliant noon sun. To a stranger passing by, it might look like a mere old piece of fabric, but to Tembo, that cloth is an invaluable sensory signal. In the sweltering heat of the savannah, fierce African horseflies relentlessly attack, clinging to the sensitive skin around the eyes and ears of elephants. This physical harassment often prevents traumatized elephants like Tembo from ever reaching deep sleep, as they must constantly flap their ears and flick their trunks to ward off insects. Zara begins to sing, a gentle, undulating melody in a local language that translates to "the river flows home." Along with her song, she begins to use the cloth. She does not strike the elephant, as some might mistake from a distance. Instead, she performs a dance of soothing. The red cloth dances in the air, each gentle swish perfectly synchronized with the rhythm of the lullaby. She uses it to brush away the flies swarming around his temples and gently wipes the red dust accumulating at the corners of Tembo and Apo's eyes. This action mimics how a mother elephant uses her trunk or tail to groom and protect her calf, an act of empathy that pierces through all species barriers. The red cloth serves two vital purposes. First, it provides physical relief from the painful bites of insects. Second, the steady whoosh-whoosh of the fabric against the elephant and Apo's rough skin acts as a metronome. It helps Tembo anchor his mind in the present moment, rather than letting horrific memories of the past invade. We can see Tembo's trunk, once coiled and trembling with anxiety, finally relax, its tip resting gently on the red earth. His massive head begins to lower. Zara moves closer, pressing her forehead against the elephant and Apo's trunk, her voice never wavering for a second. The heat of the day seems to recede, giving way to a sacred and silent space. It is a scene of paradox yet immense beauty. A woman who gave up city comforts and an elephant who lost his family, both finding a common ground of peace amidst the dusty savannah. The red cloth in Zara's hand is now no different from a conductor's baton, directing a symphony of recovery. In that moment, the world seems to consist only of the breath of two creatures blending together under the vast African sky, a testament to how love can dissolve all pain if we are patient enough to listen. What is truly happening inside Tembo's extraordinary brain during those 10 short minutes? It is a biological miracle created only through patience. For a traumatized elephant, the fear center in the brain is stuck in a state of maximum activation, like an alarm bell that never turns off. By using low-frequency sounds and rhythmic touches, Zara is performing a magnificent soothing of the nervous system. Oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and trust, begins to flood Tembo's system, gradually neutralizing the excess cortisol that kept him in a state of hypervigilance for years. This is not a coincidence, but the result of profound understanding, where science is wrapped in the mantle of compassion. The magic reaches its peak when Tembo's massive knees begin to buckle. He does not lie down out of weakness, but because he has reached the threshold of absolute and unconditional trust. For an African elephant, lying down in front of a human is the ultimate expression of entrusting one's life. In the natural world, the lying position is when they are most vulnerable. A 5-ton creature requires significant time and effort to stand back up if a predator suddenly attacks. If Tembo did not believe the small woman before him could protect him, he would remain standing forever like a lonely, exhausted fortress. The impact of the massive body on the ground creates a deep thud, sending a cloud of red dust into the air as a confirmation of total surrender. Zora does not stop there. She gently kneels beside his large ear, the humming of the echo of the matriarch continuing steadily, blending with the wind blowing through the dry grass. Her hand continues to move the red cloth in a hypnotic rhythm, then gently spreads it over the elephant's eyes. The vibrant red cloth now serves as a canopy, protecting Tembo's sensitive eyes from the harsh midday Savannah sun. This is the most vivid proof of a truth. The most violent conflicts with nature cannot be resolved with noise or sturdy fences, but through the quietest and most sincere forms of communication. Watching Tembo's chest heave with deep breaths, we realize the aggressive elephant of the past is gone. In his place is a creature enjoying true peace. This moment challenges every prejudice regarding the wildness and ferocity of animals. It suggests that the boundary between humans and nature is actually a wall built of fear. When that fear is dismantled, the only thing left is a pure connection between two souls. Tembo is not just sleeping. He is being healed in a dream where, for the first time in years, there are no shadows of hatred or the pain of loss. As Tembo drifts into a deep sleep, the surrounding space also slowly settles. Zara quietly retreats, leaving a peaceful void for the sleeping giant. From a distance, against the vast African horizon, the silhouette of the small woman and the giant elephant is but a solitary yet powerful dot. The afternoon sun begins to fade, casting long shadows across the red earth. The final image lingering in the mind is the vibrant red cloth covering Tembo's eyes. It looks like a symbol of a heart beating in sync with the wild. The melody of the lullaby seems to linger in the air, even though Zara has stopped singing. We realize that this story is not merely about saving a single elephant. It is a profound metaphor for how we treat the different and the alien in our lives. If a woman can soothe a broken giant with just a song and a thin piece of fabric, what could we achieve in our own lives if we chose to lead with empathy instead of power or violence? Tembo's journey is a resounding success, but the conservation battle at this sanctuary never truly stops. The African savanna is changing every day. Habitats are shrinking, and the cost of maintaining a safe haven for giants like Tembo is astronomical. Watching Tembo occasionally twitch his trunk in his sleep, perhaps dreaming of lush green fields or the family he once lost, we understand that we're being invited to become part of his new family. We often mistakenly believe that to change the world, we need to create loud echoes or grand gestures. But as Zara proved through the echo of the matriarch and a simple red cloth, sometimes the most profound changes occur in the silence of a lullaby. It is a change that comes not from coercion, but from the voluntary letting go of defensive armor to embrace love. The story of Tembo and the red cloth does not end when the elephant wakes up. It continues to live in the hearts of everyone who witnesses it, as a reminder that compassion is a universal language that any creature can understand. As the twilight falls to blur the footprints in the dust, the belief in a harmonious world between humans and all living things remains as bright as the red of the cloth on the savannah. Because, after all, every creature in this world, whether great or small, deserves a gentle melody to soothe their soul and a safe place to call home.